Hi, I'm Shalini Bharadwaj. You all are watching ITV Networks Medically Speaking. So, welcome to Medically Speaking. In our last episode, we discussed about COVID-19 and how the second wave is going to affect, and especially this double mutant variant is going to affect on India. But in our this episode, we are going to discuss that who is responsible for this research and why so many cases are increasing day by day. We have with us on our panel Dr. Ishwar Gilada, who is a consultant in HIV and infectious diseases, Secretary General, People's Organization and Organized Medicine Academic Guild. Dr. Ishwar, welcome to Medically Speaking. We have with us Dr. Anjan Trikha, who is the chairman of Clinical Managerial Group COVID Center at All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Dr. Trikha, welcome. Welcome to Medically Speaking, sir. And then we
Thank you.
have Dr. Dhiren Gupta, who is a senior consultant pediatrics at Sir Gangaram Hospital. Welcome, Dr. Dhiren. My first question goes to Dr. Anjan Trikha. Sir, we are discussing, we have already done a lot of discussions on COVID-19, but still number of cases are increasing. And if we talk about during festival season, we can see large gatherings. We can see the places markets are overcrowded. Why this is happening? Why people are not serious or they have taken things granted? Who is responsible for these, especially the cases are increasing? Who is responsible?
I think, Shalini, it's you and me who are responsible, and you and me are citizens of the country, and we are directly responsible for this surge, what we are seeing. Maybe a lot of people are sick of it, are tired of it, and they have taken things for granted, and they just don't realize that the second surge, though the kind of infection which we are seeing looks less bad, the infectious the side effects or the gravity of the disease is less compared to the last time, maybe because we are more prepared, but still the numbers are increasing, the ICUs are getting full, there is no bed available in Maharashtra. Pune is a standing example, Nagpur is an example, and Delhi is not far off. You can see what is happening in Holi around Delhi. You switch on the TV and you see a lot of gatherings around Delhi. And mind you, we at AIMS get a lot of people coming from outside the state. Only yesterday there were 4 people who were flown in from Jalgaon because they couldn't get a place in Pune. So these are the kind of things which are happening. You and me are responsible. People have got tired of it, but they don't realize that we'll have to come back to the same level of precautions like we were there last April or May, and then only we can beat it. The positive thing is that more and more people are getting vaccinated. We presume they will develop some kind of immunity, but then the precautions have to remain, and it boils down to you and me.
Dr. Ishwar, sir, India on the brink of second wave, but still we can see that people are not that much serious. What can be the reason behind it? They are not aware, or they have taken things granted, or they don't wanted to follow the guidelines, which we can see.
See, firstly, our people, they respect Janda and they are scared of Danda. And we need both Janda and Danda. See, if you don't expect the second wave or third wave to come, we are fools. If you have seen a second wave or third wave anywhere in the world, second wave was stronger than the first wave, the third wave was stronger than first and second wave together. So we are going to also have third wave. It is not that we are going to stop at second wave. Only good thing about second wave is it is highly infectious virus but less lethal. So the people are not dying in that big number. Maybe earlier we were losing people because we did not know the virus, we did not know how to treat, we did not know the doses of a lot of drugs like tocilizumab was used unnecessarily, or steroids were used in very high numbers. So we had a lot of problems. But now people understand, medical community understand how to manage the infection. Secondly, people are not thronging the hospital. So only those people who require hospitalization, they are getting to hospital, and therefore doctors can concentrate on those people. Otherwise, earlier people were testing. As soon as they tested positive, they used to go and block the beds in hospital. So there was a lot of shortage of beds that time. And thirdly, what we can see that the current virus being highly infectious, it is R naught or RO. It was earlier one person before 10 days used to infect another person. Now they are infecting more than two. So we can see double or triple number of people getting infected in the same short span of time. Currently, the case doubling rate is 13 days and the death doubling rate is 18 days, which was not earlier any time. So we are in it. But what happens in our country is that we look at neighbors. Everybody in the country is saying Maharashtra, but Maharashtra was earlier also leader, but all other country states followed up Maharashtra. Now look at about 15 days before, Maharashtra was reporting 70% of cases. Currently, it is reporting 58% of cases. That means that 12% gap is taken by other states. Now, what happens is when Maharashtra is increasing, say by 10% every day or every 2 days, it is 4-5,000. It looks a big number. But when other states, I was looking at data of UP and Bihar, which are highly populous states, and 15 days before in Bihar there were only 44 cases in a day, and UP was reporting 126 cases in a day. Now UP has gone up 10 times in just 2 weeks. Bihar has gone up 8 times in just 2 weeks. So if you look at that small numbers, it doesn't take much time to become big numbers. Maharashtra is being followed by our neighboring states of Karnataka, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. Similarly, Delhi is followed by Punjab, Delhi, Haryana, Chandigarh, and then other states will be taken into account. Now, the major problem currently is bed capacity is getting to full, though the government figures show that so many beds are available. But actually speaking, whenever people are calling, we are finding there are a lot of waiting lists. So maybe beds are available, but they are not evenly distributed. So where it is required, it is not available. As Anjan said that people are flown in or coming from Jalgaon to Delhi for getting hospital admissions. So that kind of cases, that kind of conditions is going to happen. We need to tell people that we need to look at East for prevention and to the West for treatment. East means you look at Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia. They have been masking for last several years, not because of COVID, maybe because of for H1N1, tuberculosis, pollution, etc. So they are already 40-50% people used to mask. For them, reaching from 40-50% to 95 or 100% was not very difficult. India never masked. So by a lot of efforts, we have reached only 40 or 50%. But you just look at those which are masking, they are not covering their nose, they are not covering their mouth. And when they want to talk, they open. Well, we need to follow our leaders also. You look at 5 election-bound states, you will find a spurt of big COVID there in just when the election result will be out. So currently they are not looking at that thing because their leaders are not following any masking. So we need to change our attitude of people. And lastly, most importantly, we have always been blaming young people. We are saying that young people are responsible for having infection from society to home or home to society. But if a blame game is there, we are not going to solve the problem. I worked in HIV for 35 years. I know that blaming young people was a wrong strategy. Making them at center stage of the epidemic, prioritizing them is the strategy. So now also we need to prioritize young population. All our programs should be young people centric and make them responsible for their own generation, for the next generation, and for the senior generation. And they will be responsible, and only then we can control this pandemic. And last but not the least, the vaccine is to prevent the third surge, not the second surge. Second surge we cannot prevent through vaccine. And the pace of vaccination is very, very slow. Though we say that in the world we are the fastest growing, but our population is also fastest growing. So we need to vaccinate people. We have number of doctors. We have 12,70,000 MBBS doctors, 3,70,000 postgraduate doctors. I'm not counting non-MBBS doctors. So we have 17 lakh medical force. Even if 20% of them are used as vaccinators, there are 3,50,000 vaccinators. What we are doing today, we are not using the trained force. We are training the untrained force. We are asking them where is deltoid muscle, how to inject vaccine, how to fill up the syringe. This is a wrong thing to do. We have 27,000 PHCs. We have 1,47,000 sub-centers. All these are vaccination centers. Use them properly. We are not doing that. We need to change our strategy. Yeah.
That's really important. Dr.
Shalini, I want to say something here. Means well said, sir, and I totally agree with each and every point what you said. Now, I tell you, I'm a clinician, though I'm a pediatrician, but last year I managed around 2000 plus adult online, and as well as I'm taking care of adult ward. Fine. Now I'm telling you what the sir has said in the previous, the previous talk, and I'll give you an example. What has happened over past 1 week? It started in the south, and as a clinician, I was sure that probably it won't come to Delhi as it happened last year when it came to Italy, and we were tali bajaying and lot of things we were giving.
And it crossed more than 8,000 cases in Delhi itself.
Yeah. So now it's very clear that it's approaching north. Now, second, my prediction was little bit wrong. Around 2 months back, my medical director asked me, "What do you think that what will happen?" I told him that in March end it will come again. He said, "No, no, no. It is going to be very difficult to rearrange the hospital." But I never expected to this mark, this scale. This virus is going to enter in the community again. So I was okay in predicting the time, but not the scale of infection. Now, one thing, as I told you, past 6 days, I got lot of adult COVID calls. Especially doctors usually calls me, but they get themselves managed by me, and as an infectious disease expert. But I'm coming to say another point, which he emphasized, that our pace of vaccination is very slow. Now look at what was the impact of vaccination. At this time last year, our 30% of staff got infected, including our fellows, our residents, our nurses, and I can name the people around me who got infected. Our hospital, 30% of the beds were occupied by our staff. Fine. Now look at present. None of the person who got infected, who got vaccinated, and now probably been exposed, it's the same level. What I can say, even if they are infected, they are not spreaders, they are not super spreaders. What happens? Though vaccine is set not to prevent the spread state, but what happens when I get infected? If it is a minor one, I am going to spread it, during incubation period to the less number of people. My R0 decreases. So what I can say, as per my experience over past 15 days in Delhi, in Gangaram Hospital, probably hospitals looks like very safe because everybody is vaccinated as compared to last year when hospital became the hub. So what I want to emphasize, we could have avoided this second wave. We got this vaccine, a beautiful vaccine we got, whether it's a Covaxin or Covishield, at around January, fine. And the whole world was still starving for the vaccine. Because we got the vaccine, people thought that, government is probably doing experiment. When something get in free, get at throwaway prices, or you get very easily things, people doesn't understand the importance of any component. Look at the Pakistan, look at the Bangladesh, look at the African countries. They are, looking after, they are, begging sort of that get us a vaccine, get us vaccine. Our population is getting, and then if we call it in Hindi, you start nakhre. This is pretty wrong, and unfortunately, Shalini, social media and premature release of the data, plus a politicization among the vaccine manufacturers actually harmed. And before I understand the data, it reaches the general public. Okay, so many died. Today only I found that on PGI at head of department, the PGI dean got infected despite of 2 vaccination. I mean to say, let's be responsible, not only as a citizen, but as a scientific person, as a doctor, as a community person. And final answer, you cannot change, Shalini, the character, the nature of the people. I have seen peak of the Delhi, that is during Diwali. Despite of peak, people were not worried about the COVID appropriate behavior. Today also, now what previous speakers have said, Dr. Anjanand is right, they were absolutely correct. People, in fact, now presently not scared of disease also.
Yes.
Why I am saying so? because they previously beds got filled up very quickly because whosoever got infection, they were scared of some unknown complication. Now people know that this I am young, I won't get affected, so they are not panicking. So problem with the not panicking is that they are taking it too lightly and they are spreading it. They are not using appropriate behavior, and that's why they don't think that vaccination is meant for them. My feeling is that yesterday I found that our health minister said that we need not to vaccinate everybody, but I'll be little bit different from that. We need to vaccinate everybody in due course of time. One.
Sir, my one
Secondly,
question to you, sir, that do you think, sir,
yeah.
that if we vaccinate children also, if we get vaccine of for the children, and if we vaccinate them, then it will be easy for us to reach herd immunity. Do you think this can be the solution? Because
Uh,
children are the one who are the spreaders, we can say.
Currently,
children may not get severe disease, but they are spreaders. One. And what I have found, because I closely monitor the families and pediatric patients, dadi, ma, and grandparents are very closely attached to their the grandson and granddaughter. Despite that, they develop cold and cough. They don't leave them alone because they feel okay. We have lived our life, and he should not get anything. But
Hmm.
it is the contrary that they are at the receiving end of the virus. So we need to vaccinate all population. And what is strategy? Probably day before yesterday, I found that it is going to start that after 1st April, we're going to have mobile vans, and they are going to go mohalla and mohalla. And what sir has said and means is absolutely fine. He is a very good epidemiologist. He has got all the figures, so lakhs. Why we are training untrained people? We have so many people. I am a pediatrician also, so I vaccinate. And pediatricians are very expert in vaccinating.
So
Let
true,
it
sir.
market be very open. Let market be very open. What is harming? I put up this note in one of the group that we pediatricians should vaccinate all the adults. Somebody replied, "Sir, it is little bit scary. For 100 rupees, why I will take the chance?" One. Secondly, he said that okay, sir, it may be risky that patient may get anaphylaxis. You are training a untrained doctor or untrained personnel to find the deltoid to vaccinate and then manage the anaphylaxis. But what will happen to 3 lakh plus or 4 lakh plus who are already being trained for all these things? They need to just brush up the things. I mean to say, my feeling is very clear, Shalini. First of all, we should pitch in all the doctors, whether it is MBBS, whether it is an MD, whether it is a final year student. One. Secondly, market should be open. Like somebody wants to go to a clinic, like my father wants to go to a clinic, a private clinic,
It is
and that
nearby
doctor,
clinic, because it is
yeah, nearby
difficult for
clinic,
old people to reach a
because
place which is far away.
in my institute, it took me 45 minutes to stand there. There were no crowding, but there were people around. So, as I told you, we have got an international group. So we asked everybody in US and Italy and UK how they are vaccinating. They are not getting crowded. So probably second wave, the vaccination time and the grouping and the overcrowding due to for the vaccination probably might have played little bit. Now, having said that, we are here to find out the solution. So solution is not very simple, I understand. It is not a fault of government at all. It is we people are at fault in spreading, not taking behavior as well as not accepting the vaccine. But now time has happened, time has come. All doctors should be pitching. All sort of vaccines should be allowed in India, whether it is low price, whether it is high price, whether it's a throwaway price. All doctors should be pitching to vaccinate in their clinics, in their respective clinics, and we should not rationing should not be there that only you can charge 50 rupees, only you can charge 100 rupees. Let it be open. Government is already spending so much. You can get free vaccine in the government, you can get subsidized vaccine in big hospitals, and you can get all sort of vaccine in private clinic, and depending on the what professional thinks is the best for the patient.
Dr. Anjan, as Dr. Dhiren has also said, and we discussed earlier also that it should be increased, the vaccination should be increased. So, do you think forced vaccination is going to help in any way?
No. I think, see, it's very nice to find faults retrospectively in a lot of things. I personally feel that looking at the number of people we are, looking at our general behavior in the society, and I'm not talking about me and you, Shalini, I'm talking about the country as a whole, right? From Kanyakumari to Srinagar, right? How much we respect our laws, how much we respect the basic hygiene of our city, we take into consideration everything. It is going to be a very tough call, and I sincerely think we're doing a good job of it. There would be overcrowding. If you order a pizza today and you got to go and pick up a pizza, it will take you 20 minutes to stand in a line to pick up a pizza. That's perfectly fine because there are so many people asking for pizzas.
Yes, sir.
So we have to take into consideration we are a huge number and a huge country and with logistical issues and a different terrain. Other than that, vaccination is not the only issue the government has to think about. They have to think about elections. Now, it has been rightly pointed out, wait for 15 days after the election results and you'll see what will happen. It will all happen after 15 days of election results. So it is all going to be there. We cannot force people. Mind you, you said children ko laga do. There are no data to support that this vaccine has been used in children. Only 2 studies have been started in US where they are taking care of children between 14 to 17 years, because as per international definitions, you can have a 17-year-old and he comes into the subgroup of a child, right? Unless you have data, you really don't know, and we need not start doing it in children unless we think that it is pretty safe and we have some phase 3 trial results in front of us. There was a whole lot of controversy about a phase 3 trial as far as Covaxin and Covishield was concerned. We should not go into that again. Let the numbers come in as far as studies are concerned and for children. And doing it by force, nothing happens by force. See, in USA, the USA government has bought the single jab Johnson and Johnson vaccination,
Yes.
and because it is less, in spite of the fact it is less efficacious, but they are using a single jab in homeless people because they just move around and they may not come back again for the second jab. So that kind of things goes. Now in US you get the Pfizer one, you get the Moderna one, and you also get the Johnson one. But Johnson one is reserved for the homeless and they are given the jabs and it is less efficacious. We all know it. So by force is not the answer. By force, nothing happens. People have to become aware of it. And now people are getting aware of it. It's just that it is in our inherent DNA of Indians. We tend to discuss a lot. I had told you in an earlier program also, if you ask a family what should be cooked for dinner, there'll be 20 suggestions and they will all debate and discuss and then something will be decided. That's the way we are. And the social media is adding to it. Before even a vaccine is released in a country, on the social media, on my group, on Dr. Gupta's group, on Dr. Gilada's group, everybody is aware of the result of a trial which we have never seen, and somebody is commenting upon the trial who's not also even a BSc chap. He is a politician who's done maybe history honors. He is talking about a vaccine efficacy or efficiency. They won't even know the numbers and how to interpret those numbers. A glass can be half full and a glass can be half empty. Somebody has to decide what is the best for the people. So force is out. We can't use it by force. We cannot. There would be doctors, there would be nurses, there would be younger doctors managing the ICUs and the wards who will not take it for whatever reasons. You can't force them. You can't throw them out because then you'll have to have laws. Then you'll have to have police coming in, FIRs being that, well, this man is not getting vaccinated. Please remove him from the hostel or from the hospital. We can't do that. Governments will fall like this. So by force, it is not on. It has to be voluntary. We have to, again, the only thing is that we have to be persistent. And I'm sure things are improving. We get calls now that from 1st of April, 45 years and above will do it. Let's hope somebody does it. But children is still a far off thing. There was a lot of controversy regarding pregnant women. So that is settling down. So hopefully after the 1st of April, more will come in. But then this vaccination is only going to work as it has been said earlier for the third surge, not the second surge. You get the first shot, then you get the second shot. If it is Covishield after 8 weeks, then you wait for about 15 days and hope it works. there will be some amount of people where it is not going to produce antibodies. If at all those antibodies are produced, they are not neutralizing antibodies. So it's not a, magic bullet that a vaccine, you put it and then you go around walking in the malls, you go around walking, seeing movies in the cinema halls. No, it's not that. We'll have to live with this virus. And the other thing, what is happening now is, and I'm sure all clinicians who are listening to this program would know it, that at that time, during the first surge, when there was a whole lot of fear among the public, hospitals had stopped doing anything else. So we've started back doing normal non-COVID jobs. So the beds are filled up by non-COVID patients. There are people who are taking care of non-COVID patients. So now that you only have a small percentage of beds available for COVID patients. So that's why the bed are going to be at a premium now. That's what exactly is happening in Bombay. That is happening in Nagpur. That is happening in Pune, because normal work had to start, and it has to start. You can't say that I will not take care of non-COVID patients. You can't allow a patient who's had a heart attack, who needs an emergency angiography and a stenting, not to be done because we only take care of COVID patients. No, that's not the answer. So the medical facilities are being stressed. There is no magic bullet. We will have to live with it, and we'll have to see how best we can utilize our facilities available, which includes hospital, COVID job, non-COVID job. I remember in the month of April and May last year, the Delhi government, the rule given to us, and we followed that guideline, was admit all positive patients. So the guidelines have been changing every 4 weeks. Now the issue is don't admit positive patients. Now the issue is going to be that we'll have to have only X number of beds. Those COVID care centers have all closed down. There were huge COVID care centers in Delhi. They are no longer functional. The staff has been relieved. And coming back to vaccination, well, points have been put forward that how it has to be done. I am not involved. I'm not a health policy maker as far as vaccination is concerned. As a whole country, taking care of vaccination in a hospital is a different ball game. Taking care of vaccination has to be from somebody sitting in the ministry who's been taking care of, polio vaccines or let's say tuberculosis or something. They are the best decision makers for that. But I'm sure our Dr. Saab has a point that it is better to utilize people who are already good at it than to get in people who are not good at it. And the point well taken is, why to do it in a private practice for 100 rupees? Well, the answer is a time will come in this country when you do it for 100 rupees. I'm sure maybe Dr. Gilda would be there in school in 1965, or I was in school, and that time our Prime Minister said, let's stop eating one meal at least once a week. And I still know some oldies in my family who have been fasting once a week because Mr. Shastri said so, because we were short of grains. So something of that kind would have to be done.
So
there is no shortcut to it. There is no shortcut to it.
Dr. Ishwar, sir, I would like to know, are we getting reinfection cases also? Because there are a lot of COVID patients, I know. They all are asking that, they are following the guidelines, although, but they are like, they can also get COVID infection again after 6 months or 3 months of time.
Shalini, you ask a very pertinent and good question. Whether you get infected and develop antibody, or whether you take vaccine or develop antibody. The antibodies will last maximum 6 to 8 months, maybe 10 months. So that is very important even from the vaccination point of view. If vaccination effect is going to last only for 8 to 10 months, that means whatever number of people we need to vaccinate, that entire thing has to be completed in 8 to 10 months. We have 2.5 months already over. So we have only 6 to 7 months at hand. So whatever targeted people are there, maybe 60 crore, 70 crore, and 2 doses, that is 120 crore doses, have to be finished within 6 to 8 months. And if that is not done, then all of us will have second round of vaccine. Similarly, those which were infected 6 months back, 8 months back, they are getting reinfected. And that is also possible. Thirdly, there are new variants and strains. There are people who are fully vaccinated. Despite that, they are getting infected. Now, every time we see headlines in newspaper or kind of breaking news in TV channel, so and so was infected despite 2 weeks after complete dose of vaccination. So you should know that 30 to 40% people, vaccine will not work. So despite getting vaccinated, that person will still get infected. And there cannot be a news on that. But because of social media, because of electronic media, such news are spread, and therefore people are not taking vaccine. There is a vaccine hesitancy. And most important thing is also to ramp up vaccination. We need to have 24/7 vaccination. We should have private, public everywhere. We should have mobile clinics. We should have at workplaces. Initially, we did not understand whether the vaccine will give a lot of severe reaction or not. Therefore, we are asking people to wait for half an hour. There is overcrowding in that waiting area. People who are just vaccinated, they can get infected from next door person. So we need to change all those things in the light of currently available guidelines or experience. And secondly, the vaccination which are approved as an emergency authorization use has to change as a regular authorization. Once that is done, vaccine will be available over the counter. People will buy, will go from take from the doctor. Now, if you are saying that vaccine is costing 250 rupees in a private hospital currently, the person has to take a half day off and go there. If person is earning 1,000 rupees a day, he is losing 500 rupees. So why should a person go and wait there for such a long time? And that too is like at one place there is no queue, at other place there is a queue. The message goes there, you go there is no queue. You go there is a queue there. So everywhere there is a kiosk. Same thing had happened with the COVID testing. We started COVID testing as on ration shop. And with the ration, only those people who are authorized, they will do COVID testing. So we are doing HIV testing, hepatitis B testing, hepatitis C testing, VDRL testing. What is there great in the COVID testing? Antibody testing also. So it has to open up. Everybody who is qualified, you give a license to a particular product, whether it is a vaccine or test. Anybody who is authorized to use can use it from a licensed product. You give a list of these are the approved vaccines, these are the approved tests, these are the approved things. Let people buy and use it. So don't put a lot of restrictions of people. The moment you put restriction, there's a black market happening. And good that they have opened up for 45 plus people right now. Already people were doing black marketing, giving false certificates, or some vaccination centers were keeping a doctor there who was giving a certificate there only and giving vaccine as a comorbidity. How do you, you can only see age because of documentation. You cannot see comorbidity. Anybody could say they have a comorbidity. There is no certification which can be authentic. So we need to look at those two things, and we need to, this vaccine is in addition to SMS, sanitizer, mask and social distancing. So it is a VSMS. It is not V is replacing SMS. SMS will continue. Vaccination is one of the armamentarium, we got it. And that is a better than last year, but it is not replacement of last year.
Thank you, Dr. Ishwar. Thank you, Dr. Anjan Trikha, Dr. Dhiren Gupta for joining us on Medically Speaking. We will continue our discussion till the time COVID-19 will end. Thank you so much, sir.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.